Hello and welcome to No Force Physics, where we come straight to the point immediately. In the previous video, our discussion was on electric field due to cylinder when the charge is on the surface of the cylinder. What will happen if the charge spreads throughout
This is the axis of the cylinder, the radius r of the cylinder. The charge is spread throughout this. So I'll show the positive charge inside the cylinder spread throughout. And now we are interested in finding out the electric field at a distance r. This is point P, where r is greater than r, this particular point. So again we do the same thing. We imagine a Gaussian surface such that it is symmetric. So I am choosing a cylinder, and this distance L, and radius is of course r. So this Gaussian cylinder has length L and radius r, and the charge is, as we saw, inside this cylinder. Now we have to keep in mind this charge is there inside the cylinder. It is not there in this area. So this area does not have any charge. The charge is there only inside the cylinder. So that is something which we should keep in mind. Again, now we will use the same equation for phi and try to find out electric field. So the first equation, phi is equal to q inside upon epsilon. So let us first find out q inside. Q inside is the charge inside this particular cylinder, this much volume. And that will be equal to rho into volume of that cylinder, which will be rho into, this is pi r square L. Please note that here now we have capital R. In the previous case we had small r. In this case we have r square L. So we now know q inside. So electric flux will be q inside by epsilon naught is equal to rho pi r square L by epsilon naught. Equation number 1. Let's apply for phi the equation E dA cos theta. Okay, so we want to find out E dA cos theta. Again we will look at how many surfaces. So the surfaces that we have is, one is this is surface number 1. Please note that for this we have to look at the Gaussian surface. This is surface number 2. This is surface number 1, this is surface number 1, this is surface number 2, and the curved surface 3. Like in the previous cases, 1 and 2 there will not be any flux associated with surface 1 and 2 because theta will be 90 degree. So flux will be associated only with the curved surface 3. So therefore this equation now I can take integration of E dA, because theta will be 0, direction of the electric field is this, direction of the area is also, this is direction of dA, this is direction of the electric field, theta is 0, so cos 0 is 1. Integration of d dA. E is constant, so is equal to E integration of dA, because E is constant for the entire Gaussian surface. dA will give me the area of the total Gaussian surface. So the curved surface of this cylinder I have to find out. Curved surface is given by 2 pi RL. So this will be E into 2 pi RL. Please note that here small r, because we are talking of the area of the Gaussian cylinder whose radius is r. So 2 pi RL. We will equate these two terms now. So if I equate, I'll get rho pi r square L by epsilon naught is equal to E into 2 pi RL. So r, pi and L will get cancelled out. So I'll get is equal to pi and L. So rho r square by epsilon naught is equal to E into 2 into r. And therefore this will imply that E is equal to rho r square upon 2 epsilon r. 2 epsilon r, rho r square is equal to E. Now if I put the constants on one side, rho r is also a constant, so r square 2 epsilon naught into 1 over r, and therefore E is proportional to 1 over r in this case. This is the equation for E, and E is proportional to 1 over r. So why is that the case? So let's go back to the diagram. As r increases, now the maximum charge is already there for r greater than r. The charge cannot increase further because the maximum charge has been covered up to distance is equal to radius r. The moment you go outside, the charge remains fixed, but the distance keeps on increasing as you go away. And as distance increases, the electric field intensity will decrease. Therefore, for r greater than r, we get E is proportional to r, and of course I should put the condition for r greater than r. So earlier we had obtained the equation r is proportional to r for r less than r, and this is r is inversely proportional to 1 upon r for r greater than r. And therefore if I again plot the graph of E versus r, so I'll take the y-axis and the x-axis. On this axis I have E, on this axis I have r. Here I will take the cylinder. This is the cylinder. Of course this E is for this axis E, and this is r. So here we are, this is r less than r, here r greater than r. So when r is less than r, E is proportional to r, so we'll get a straight line going up. So let me take this off for the time being so that I can show the graph line. So when r is less than r, you'll get a straight line going up because r is proportional to r. And in this, r is inversely proportional to r, so you'll get a curve like this going down like this. And again, we can see that E is maximum at r, and it decreases as we go towards the center of the cylinder, and it again decreases as we go further away from the cylinder. So this is how the value of E changes as we go towards the cylinder or away from the cylinder. Last 2 points that I want to mention over here. Point number one is that when we were talking of the previous case meaning when the charge was on the surface, the condition that we got was when E is equal to 0 for r less than r, and E is inversely proportional to r when r is greater than r. In this case, we got E is directly proportional to r when r is less than r, and E is inversely proportional to r when r is greater than r. So therefore, there is a difference in the graph. In the previous case, the graph for this part was a straight line over here, whereas since it is directly proportional to r, we are getting a straight line in this case. As far as the second part is concerned, that is when r is greater than r, the relationship is same. Therefore, we get a graph going down. That's point number one. The second point that I want to mention is that this is a graph which we have done earlier with gravitational force also. So in case of gravitational force, we studied that if we go in the center of the earth, inside the center of the earth, the value of G increases like this, and once we come out of the surface of the earth and go away from the surface of the earth, we get a graph like this. So this is exactly the same graph that we had done for the value of G with reference to the center of the earth. So there is a similarity in nature, as we can see over here, between electric field and gravitational field. Right, so we have done this discussion on cylinders. We started with discussing the line charge that was for infinitely long wire, then we moved to cylinders. In the next video, we will do a discussion on the electric field due to a sphere. Thank you.
So we studied the electric field due to a cylinder with charge distributed throughout its volume, and we saw how dramatically the field inside changes compared to the surface charge case. If you like this video, please subscribe to Know First Physics, where we come always straight to the point immediately. In the next video, we will move to one of the most important geometries in electrostatics, and that is spheres. We will begin exploring the electric field due to the charge sphere using Gauss's law, and I will connect with all of you in that video. Thank you.